Welcome to Vyapar, a show where we explore the journeys of entrepreneurs and the businesses that they've built. I'm your host Sid, and this week with me are Jayanti and Shalini Bhattacharya, two sisters who have created an amazing company called India Hemp & Co. And like the name suggests, they make products based out of hemp like protein powder, hemp oils to name a few, and currently they have a pipeline of 12 products. And what's really interesting is that this is the only hemp company in India which is led and owned by women. They've also got listed by Forbes as one of the top 5 hemp brands in India, and if you take a look at the products and the packaging, you'll understand why. They've also got a global outreach with Shalini operating from Barcelona, which gives them a lot of geographical potential, geographical advantage to grow, and adds a lot of spice to the business. Sustainability and creativity are their core values on which they operate on, and that's the core values that they have aligned themselves with, and they're continuously growing their team, exponentially increasing their reach and their impact. And I believe that hemp is going to be $1 trillion plant in the future, and for us to survive as a species, for us to have a sustainable future, I think hemp is going to play a big part. And when it explodes in India, I think this company has positioned themselves beautifully to capture that growth. And by the way, Jayanti is going to launch a new product on this episode. She has not told me, even I don't know what it's going to be. It's a secret. So we'll find out. It's quite exciting for me because, this is the first ever product launch on Vyapar. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be really exciting. And let's hear it from the founders, Jayanti and Shalini. It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thanks, Siddharth.
Hi, Siddharth. It's great to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. So, before we talk about India Hemp & Co., how you started it, what was the idea behind it, tell me something about your respective backgrounds. Are you someone in biotech or, someone in the food business, or your backgrounds have been completely detached from this particular business that you've created? Tell me something about your backgrounds and how you got started.
So I'm Shalini Bhattacharya. I'm the sister that's based out of Barcelona. My background is in business. So I did all my education in Bangalore till my undergrad, and then moved to Spain to do my MBA here. So overall, career-wise, I worked as a business consultant at KPMG, then moved into writing, ran a magazine for a while, and then came here to do my MBA at Esade. After which, I discovered more innovation-related consulting. And I think that's added a lot to the business as well and how we operate. It's very user-centered and sustainability-focused. So I'm going to set up the context of it. So we come from family business, and our father has been in food processing for a long time. That said, he's not really involved in this, but we are familiar with, in general, food and agriculture because and agriculture technology. And I think what we found is a little bit of all this has led us to where we are. And I think we use all the skills and experiences that we've had individually and together.
So to introduce myself, I'm Jayanti Bhattacharya, the other sister of India Hemp & Co. I have a master's in advertising and marketing from the University of Leeds. And I've worked with Ogilvy and Mather in Bangalore and Lintas in Bombay. I've also co-founded another company. And this is the second company that I've co-founded with my sister. Like Shani was just talking, our skill sets are very, very different, but we complement each other and we work really smoothly as a team. It really helps that Shani actually lives in Barcelona. It gives us a huge advantage because we know where the hemp market is headed. And, it really helps in forming strategic partnerships as well.
Understood. So you've had a family business in a food family business, I would say, but not naturally, there's no scientific background that backs you up. So I would like to understand how you got in the hemp business, because it fascinates me. This plant, when I read about it, when I research about it, I just feel that it has so many potential use cases. And what's the story of India Hemp & Co? What was the main idea or pain point that you were addressing through this company?
Sure. So that in 2017, so I think between 16 and 17, I've been living in Barcelona for a while. And what had happened was, out of the blue, I suddenly had this really, really bad back problem, right? And that basically disrupted my sleep. I'd gotten quite weak, and I live here alone. And it was really hard to be able to, like, just the first couple of, I think the first 5, 6 months itself, it took to figure out what the problem was. After going, through various scans and MRIs and trying different things, I realized that the recovery process wasn't starting, right? So what it did was stop the pain momentarily, but like 7 months down the line, the pain was there.
What was the issue? You had a back problem.
Yeah, so I had 2 hernias in my spine. So basically, that's the cushioning between your vertebrae. And that it popped out for one, and it was compressing a nerve, right? So this whole thing, towards the end of it, we found out was related to lifestyle and stress. So that was causing my muscles to contract, and there was a lot of pressure on my spine. So by taking painkillers, it stopped the pain, but the muscles were still contracted, and there was still pressure on my spine. So I realized that, okay, this needs a more holistic approach. It can't just be this single approach, because it wasn't working for me. So started doing my own research, but I just started physiotherapy as well, right? So while there was physically a way to ease the muscle out, I think the other thing I came across was CBD here. So just the context of the cannabis industry and CBD, etc. in Spain, it's way, way more advanced or progressive in this aspect. It's been here for the last 20 years or so. So whether it's hemp in food, whether it's CBD, which is more recent globally, but it's accessible. It's over the counter. You have stores. So that's something I tried, and then I realized that my body really took to it. It was something I consistently took for about a year and a half. I still take it, actually. But specifically to do with this problem, what it was doing was easing the body out and allowing me to sleep better, allowing me to be able to give it the rest that it needed to be able to recover from it. So I think a combination of that, as well as the physiotherapy, helped me get over this. But while I was doing that, I was going to come back to India for a while, just to see my family and have some time at home. I usually come home around the holidays. I was trying to figure out, okay, so is CBD going to be available there? And that led me down this path of, okay, CBD and hemp and cannabis and regulations and what's happening. And then we realized, okay, wow, so the way we see hemp here is not really the way, well, it was just budding then, So being a business person, and I think both of us have a pretty keen eye for business, we're like, okay, maybe there's an opportunity here. And it's very in line with our value system of sustainability, as well as overall having positive impact, So the more we read, the more interested we became, and the both of us decided to go into business.
Wow.
And so Siddharth, I'll just add to this as a sister's perspective more than a co-founder's perspective here, because we had seen Shalini when she was going through this pain, and it was really, really, it was like a personality change. Shalini is a very outgoing social person, and she was in constant pain. I've never seen people be in pain 24/7, so it was difficult to get out of the bed, difficult to just meet people. It was like there was this huge personality change, and being the older sister and my entire family, we felt really helpless, right? Because she was here with the MRIs, the CAT scans, physiotherapy, everything. And we come from a family that's done homeopathy and Ayurveda, all of that. Nothing helped. So, and when she went back, because she's lived in Barcelona for 9 years, and she said, listen, I have to go and sort this out myself, because even India couldn't actually help sort it out. As a family, we were also really worried because there was nobody else there, right? So, but then when she found CBD and started taking CBD, I saw that transformation. It was a 4-month transformation, and you saw the personality come back. You saw that constant pain, like somebody was just constantly covered by pain. She could shrug that off. She became very active again. So, that really led us to believe. That's when she started doing a lot more research. And once you see a transformation happen to somebody in your family or somebody you love, you automatically believe and buy into the product, right? Because it's not something that happened to somebody's friend, mother, somebody. It happened to my sister, So we feel that she is a living witness of why we actually needed to get into this business, because we've seen the amount of help in terms of pain and pain management it can do. And the thing is with hemp is it's also and anti-inflammatories. And a lot of allergies are caused by inflammation. So when you have something that is anti-inflammatory, automatically your body is not fighting it, So that was one of the huge turning points for us when we realized that, listen, this plant has so many benefits and it grows in India's backyard, right? That's how we both co-founded the business in 2019. And we were one of the early people in the business, which gave us a huge head start in terms of developing a community, in terms of developing a brand. And I think people have that mental space, and we were at the right place at the right time with the right product.
Wow, that's a very interesting story, because when you think of back pain, you don't normally think that, I'm going to consume a hemp based product and that's going to treat me. Like, I don't think at this point in India, there's a lot of awareness about the medicinal uses of hemp as well. I know that this industry has been booming for a while. There are new players in this industry as well, but like, to see a transformation and to be completely healed of a problem by just using hemp, like, if I can ask you, what exactly did you use? Like, was it an oil, or did you consume hemp, or how was it? Like, how did the process work?
Okay, so basically the difference is both marijuana and hemp are under the cannabis family, right? Now, hemp is a plant that is grown wild. It's grown wild all over the Himalayas. It's grown wild in some pockets of India as well. What we work with is largely the seed, right? But then hemp has something called CBD, which is an extract. So once you take the extract out, that's when you can actually make it into pills, and you can make it into a tincture, and you can use it. So then it becomes an ingestible. So that is what CBD is. So CBD is found, quantities of CBD are found very, very high in the hemp plant.
Yeah, so that mainly comes from the bud, leaf, and stem, right? Mm-hmm. So in India right now, the seed is regulated, and that's where the business is. And that's what our product line covers right now. But the CBD that I was taking was basically based in Barcelona, and I tried oils. So I tried about 3 or 4 different brands with the oils. So it comes in like an eye drop kind of form, and you put it under your tongue. And then I tried the pills, right? So then each of them have a different percentage of hemp seed oil. So hemp seed oil in general also has omega-3 and 6, which works as an anti-inflammatory. And that is combined with CBD oil, a concentrate of CBD oil. And CBD also has anti-inflammatory properties. It's also like a mood enhancer, as well as calms your body down. So a combination of that is what I took. And finally, the one I'm still taking comes in a pill format.
And is that available in India? Like, if someone is facing a similar issue that you had faced, is that product available in India right now?
Yeah. CBD is available in India, but it's not very regulated because of the way a CBD is sourced in India, because of the regulation. So a lot of the CBD players have to, sort of use these loopholes to source it. So to be honest, as a hemp brand, when people ask us, would you recommend Indian CBD? I'm always a little wary, only because of there's no accountability at every stage as yet. I have a feeling when the regulations open up and change, it will be a game changer for us, and the whole market in general. But right now, personally, I feel that we're in a bit of a gray area with CBD.
Understood. So I would like to take a segue here. We've spoken about how you came with the idea to start the company. Now you decided that you wanted to do something in the hemp space. What was it like in the initial days when I think 2019, 2018 is when the research phase began, and then I think you officially launched in 2019. So it's been 2 years now. How has the journey been like? Can you walk me through some of the challenges or some stories that you have together, some interesting stories that you can walk me through, and some challenges that you faced in this process of, building this company?
I love this bit. So I'll tell you what happened. So we launched this company in late November in 2019. We had fantastic packaging because we said, listen, we're going to be India's first sustainable hemp company, right? So packaging was great. We had really good product coming in. Everything was, we checked all boxes. And then in March comes the first wave, right? So that's the first lockdown. So imagine running a business that is just about to take off, and then you're in a lockdown. So suddenly we were like, oh my God, what's happening? raw material was stuck on highways, packaging was, we didn't have enough, but we pulled through it because I think we really, between Shalini and I, we managed to actually really iron out every issue we have. And we actually, every order that we got, we delivered on time. A lot of people were very, very happy because we came through only because, this lockdown happened. And then suddenly people were bored at home. People were bored. People were, had to suddenly cook their own food. People were trying to figure out what they were putting into their system. And suddenly you have a company called India Hemp & Co. saying, hey, listen, we're here and this is hemp, try it, right? So we had Mindspace, which was amazing because if we had launched any other time, right? Any other time, we wouldn't have had this Mindspace. We wouldn't have had this time to actually take off. But it was only because of the first wave that there was this gap, this lull. People were so uncertain. People wanted to live a healthy life. People really didn't know what to do. And here we gave them this natural product with no preservatives, no additives, with a 12-month shelf life, right? And this is vegan, it's gluten-free, it's good for you, it's anti-inflammatory. So that's how we started. But then we also realized that the market, because in 2020, the market really didn't know about hemp. They were interested, but they didn't really know. So I still remember during this lockdown, I had at least 6 calls come in from different boys, largely from Bangalore, who kept saying, listen, can I pick up 2 kilos? I was like, no, we sell hemp, right? Yeah. And, and I tell them the benefits of hemp and how it's really good with fiber and stuff. And then they'd be like, don't you sell weed? And I said, no, we don't sell weed. So I see that transition from the first lockdown to this lockdown, where I only had 1 call from a guy in a market, right? And so I was like, yeah, okay, we made a dent somewhere. Another interesting thing that I'd like to talk about was just before the lockdown, IIMB had this program for women entrepreneurs. And it was just, for startups that were launching their businesses. And it's a very, very good program. And 11,500 women across India applied for this. So I think IIMB also didn't realize that, okay, there's a lockdown happening. They had to shift their entire physical model to an online model. And so had we, right? Because we thought, okay, we're in IIMB now, we can go in for lectures. But the beauty is we are now in the top 40 in IIMB. And, to know that we started off with 11,500 and to come up to the top 40 is a huge thing for us, especially because IIMB is a completely different platform, like no other institution in India in terms of what they give you, in terms of mentorship, in terms of guidance and exposure. I think that has been a very key aspect in our journey, is to be incubated with IIMB. That has definitely helped us structure our growth and the road ahead. It has definitely had a lot of weightage for us.
That is big. Yeah, that's definitely big. Like being associated with IIM Bangalore is a big thing.
And we're actually in the top 20 at the moment. So it's just, we've really, so the amount of multitasking that has happened in this thing because of opportunities and lockdowns and stuff has been pretty amazing. So those are small measures that we can actually use to see that we have created this brand. Our communication, which is something Shalini focuses on. Shalini, would you like to talk about how, you started the whole education of him?
So I think in terms of the strategy and communication, so that's the part I handle. So strategy-wise, it disrupted everything, all our plans, because we were going offline. So initially we were more at farmers markets, and it was a way for us to connect directly with the customer and expose them to this new product, right? And that's the best way to be able to familiarize people with it, to build that trust, to build that connection directly, get feedback. So we did a couple of those, and then I think we had 3 planned for March, and everything changed. So what we did was take a step back, figure out, okay, this is something that's going to be a problem for a little while. So let's adapt, right? And being a small team, and I think both of us being pretty agile, we're like, okay, let's react to the situation and adapt. And that's when we established ourselves pretty firmly on Instagram. We are on other platforms as well, but that's where I think a lot of the engagement happened. And like Jayanti mentioned, we suddenly had people's attention, right? So people were at home. And also behavior-wise, right? So suddenly everyone who's kind of used to either ordering out or getting people to come in to cook for them, now they're the ones cooking. They're the ones getting more familiar with what they're putting into their bodies in terms of nutrition, they're more playful maybe in their approach to cooking. So we had a bunch of little contests and got people to, even if they were in the kitchen for the first time, to participate. So we launched with those three, and the engagement there was great. So yeah, so I think the conversation, like Jayanti mentioned, also has evolved from, okay, is this going to get me high, to, okay, so how many, what do I need to meet my protein requirement for this day? So we have very different customer profiles, but they're much more informed now. And I think, our community online, so where our handles at India Hemp & Co., we are is very active and engaged and creative. And we like to celebrate that, and we're very lucky to have been able to build that and to have that support during the lockdown. And in terms of growth as well, so we're currently a team of 12 plus. We work with a bunch of different creatives and agencies as well. So it's nice to have been able to, we really value, creativity in general. So I think to be able to collaborate with people across fields, to have these new ideas, to be able to innovate. And we have a new launch actually that's happening next week, which we're excited to tell you a little bit more about. So I think in terms of product range, in terms of our reach, we're pan-India. Our team's grown, our user base as well as customers. We're seeing basically all our metrics are on the rise right now.
And are you targeting more from I know this is very early because I want to talk in detail about this, but what's your customer profile like? Like, are you targeting more B2C, or is it more big businesses, corporates, B2B segment? Which segment is something which you specifically targeting through India Hemp & Co?
So when we launched, I think the one challenge that we realized was that education, awareness was the biggest challenge, right? So the way we went about it, our strategy in general, was to be able to educate and create a demand with the end customer, and then explore the B2B segment. So right now, our key focus is still B2C, right? So we're getting in touch with the customers either directly or through, we're in about 30 plus stores. And we've also tied up with a couple of restaurants, but that's more our B2B model. We're exploring a couple of other things on the B2B side, but so far it's been primarily B2C. On the B2B side of things, a couple of things that we are getting into are, corporate gifting kind of solutions. Now that there is an awareness and the conversation has evolved, I think there's a bit of a pull from that aspect as well. We had the first superfood hemp kitchen launched with our partners in Jaipur. It's called Soulster. It's again one of the first of its kind, and that happened in March. That again was another thing that we that was a pretty big deal for us, a pretty big milestone for us. And so basically you can order in or you can go there, but it's a health-focused kitchen which has recipes from across the world. So in that situation, we also helped develop the menu, and it was a really exciting project to launch. So that's a little bit about our B2B side as well.
That's amazing. And I have to, agree with you on the point that the content that you are putting out and also the packaging is really elegant. Like, when I checked out your Instagram page, when I was researching for the episode, I was just, it didn't feel that it was a 2-year-old company, right? It felt really professional. The content that you guys are putting out is also really good, educating about the benefits of hemp and about the product offerings as well. And the packaging is mind blowing. Like, whoever, like Jayanti or Shalini, whoever finalized the design for the product, I think you guys need a stand-up ovation because I just love the packaging. It was really elegant and intuitive.
Thank you, Siddharth.
I love the product.
So I think a lot of that goes to Jayanti, yeah?
So, no, actually, because see, the thing is, being a hemp brand, right? You have this one plant that's grown in India that has 25,000 users. I'm not just throwing this number. There is documented 25,000 users to this plant. So at the moment, we've started with this seed and we've got 12 products, just one small seed. So it's huge. It's just such a big market to explore. So when we got into this industry, we said, see, we can't be a hemp brand sort of talking about this plant and its benefits and then sending it in a Ziploc because it's so cheap. So that's why we developed this packaging, which is made out of craft paper, tin and board. It is still hard enough to sort of send through couriers to internationally as well. But right now, what the beauty of this is you can recycle it and it is biodegradable, right? So I feel that is the future that people should slowly get into in terms of packaging as well. We really, really need to invest time, money, research, and develop sustainable packaging, because you might have organic vegan food, but if you are putting it into a plastic bag, you're defeating the purpose of what you've created.
Agreed with you.
Yeah.
And I want to take another turn here. So I want to talk about the products that you guys have created with India Hemp and Co. And, also walk me through the process of how you source the hemp, because I think it's only grown in Uttarakhand right now. So
That's right.
walk me through the process of how you procure hemp and how does the manufacturing work. Also, what are the product offerings that you have and how you create them? Like, just give me a little bit of a walk around in that process.
Sure. So I'm just going to first tell you about the hemp seed, right? Because I feel listeners will need to know about what the seed is and how it's processed. So you get a hemp seed, which is sourced only from Uttarakhand. Now, once you deshell means take out the husk, you get what is known as hemp hearts, what is what we sell, right? Then again, you go back to the whole seed. It's a tiny little seed with a cover. And then if you cold press the seed, you get a hemp oil, right? So that's again your cold pressed hemp oil. Now, with what's left after you cold press the oil is the hemp cake. Now, we dry that cake out and it's powdered, and that's the hemp protein powder. So those are your basic 3 products that you have that are made out of hemp. What we did was we innovated because we realized that a lot of Indians were very wary about hemp, and it just came with a very bad reputation initially. So people kept saying, will I get high? Will I get high? So we came up with this product called the hemp seed trail mix, which is a blend of different kinds of seeds that people are familiar with. So watermelon, sunflower, sesame, so your til, flax seeds, a whole bunch of seeds. We roasted it and we added hemp seeds to it. So when people, even now, when we show people, they say like, oh, is this the hemp seed? Oh, is this, so people eat things that they can identify with. And then if you add that 10% or 15% of something else, they're still willing to try it. So that was basically a nice entry level product for us. And it did really, really well because, again, it's highly nutritious. And with something like that, your body takes a while to break down, right? Because it's very, very high in protein, it's very high in nutrition. So you don't get hungry very often. That also helps with weight loss and stuff, but that's a whole other ballgame. But if we go back, so that's the basics of the seed. But if you go back to how you source it, right now there are only few companies that are allowed to process hemp, right? Because you need to have an Ayush license. And these companies are largely based in the north. And again, with licensing and regulatory issues. So right now we do source from one company. We have our own manufacturing unit, which is a huge bonus for us because that's where the packaging, everything happens in Bangalore. So we're just waiting for the regulations to change because I think that will be groundbreaking in terms of the market opening up to hemp products as well.
Understood. So there's still a lot of regulations in this space, which is preventing hemp from growing at a level at which it should, and also holding back a lot of companies which want to make new products. What do you think?
Yes.
Like, do you have any sort of visibility into when these regulations will change? What sort of timeline are we looking at in terms of hemp regulations getting easier or getting more relaxed?
So right now you can own a hemp company, you can process hemp only if you have a Ayush license, right? So this is because the Ayush ministry, they recognize hemp as a food. Now the FSSAI, which is generally what every package of food or drink has, is a completely different license. They don't yet recognize hemp as a food. And why this happens is because, again, you have to go back to history where in 1985, there was this blanket ban on cannabis and hemp just got sort of swept under the ban. So it was a huge setback for people. And the regulation is changing. It is actually in court at the moment that we will get an FSSAI approval, say, in the next couple of months. So that once that happens, you can sell on Amazon, you can sell on Big Basket. There should be nothing holding you back.
Awesome.
Yeah, and just to add to that, like on a global level, so what happened, and this was pretty important, in December 2020, the WHO actually appealed to the UN about declassifying cannabis as a Class A drug, right? So what this means is, and it was approved, which means that a lot of like internationally as well, a lot of countries basically took their policies as well as like even our NDPS Act, for example, based on that, on the fact that it was a Class A drug. And now that it has been declassified and the people who've signed the treaty are no longer bound by it, each country can make their own rules by it. So I think globally also we're going to see quite a big trend and shift in terms of hemp, the consumption, as well as the innovation and a growing market for it.
Definitely, because I see companies in the US and Canada, like listed companies on the stock exchange, which are growing at a rapid pace just because they are in the cannabis space. So globally, I think people are recognizing the potential of this plant. And I think like a lot of people, like I've read this somewhere that hemp is $1 trillion plant. Some are even saying that, that's the level of opportunity in this space. So I think like you guys are well positioned for this. When this opportunity comes into India, I think positively, I see a lot of people talking about hemp in India as well. Like Jayanti gave an example, just in 1 year, the education that has been transmitted to people, that you can see the effect. So I really hope that hemp catches on in India as well. But before I move on, I also want to talk about this one product that you guys have, hemp oil for dogs and cats. So what is that about? Like, how does that work? I don't own a pet, but do pets need oil? Like,
Sid, let me give you a little background about what our family is like, right? To just make this. So basically, we grew up, all our holidays, like as kids, have always been in the jungles or the hills. So we grew up very outdoorsy kids. And we grew up with this love for nature and Shalini's obsession with a love for animals. Okay, so it was almost like I'm not joking. Ever since she was a kid, when she and I would walk back from a bus stop, there would be like 7 dogs following us, and she had this connection with every dog, and she'd bring in puppies, and so there was always like animals in and out of our house. So I feel it was just a natural shift. Like even we've adopted a dog and we have rabbits at home. But it became a natural shift because once we realized that, listen, this is so beneficial for us, why can't we have something for pets, right? So, and it's so easy to use because it's hemp oil, again, if you remember, I said it was anti-inflammatory, right? Which is a huge deal for dogs as well and for cats, because a lot of their issues, a lot of stomach issues, a lot of allergies that cats have, and a lot of like skin irritation, gut and digestion issues, all come from anti-inflammation. So we developed this product to say that, listen, this is all you need to do. You can either put a couple of drops in your dog's food, or you can rub it on him before his bath or her bath. So it did really well for us because even the packaging that we designed for this was user friendly. Again, we don't use plastic, so everything is in glass or tin or board. So we designed something that just fit into your hand so that, because we have this massive dog who's a little unruly. So I kept thinking of him when we were like, okay, listen, how do I have them sit down and then spray it on? So it's this really nice, easy to use spray, which you can spray on their food. And it also helps with shedding, because a lot of animals shed through the year. Some just, some have a lot of like skin issues because of the detergents you use on the floor. So we really did a lot of research into this area, and we realized that it was time that you had products for pets, which brings us to our latest launch, which we're very, very happy to do through you, Sid, is dog treats, hemp dog treats. The product is called Good Doggo, and we are the only company in India to have manufactured something which is natural. We use only 5 ingredients. And we don't have fillers, we don't have additives, we don't have preservatives. It has a strong shelf life. We only use turmeric, ragi, hemp seed flour, flax seeds, and cinnamon. It has taken us 1 year to develop, literally, but the benefits are phenomenal. And we've managed to get the taste going for the dogs as well. So we feel that's another thing we realized, that people didn't want to walk around with these dry pieces of meat in their pockets while training dogs. And this is high in fiber as well, high in fiber, high in protein. So we developed this treats for dogs, and we're very, very happy to launch it.
Awesome. I mean, good luck with the launch. I'm still just wrapping my head around the fact that you guys have created something for pets through hemp. I mean, Like, is there any other company which has hemp oils for pets right now? And is there any other company who is doing something for pets in the hemp space? Like,
So I think that globally, maybe a handful of companies where they're developing products specifically like this. And I think the way we like to look at hemp, and I think our thinking has also evolved over the last couple of years, is that hemp has a lot of benefits, right? But we're not just selling hemp. We're selling a solution, or we're selling a treat. So it's a part of something that's bigger. So, like she said, it comes from a personal preference as well. We're animal people, and there's a lot of scientific research also to prove the benefits of hemp seed oil on dogs and cats, like in terms of gut health, reduces anxiety, inflammation, it thickens the coat, improves skin. So these are some of the benefits that they get from the oil. And in terms of the treats, that's something that's been really fun to create. That is also, I think what we're trying to do is also a way for you to bond with your pet. So when you're giving them a massage with the oil, or when you're rewarding them for good behavior, But this is something that's completely natural, that's very healthy, and it's kind of like a food supplement even. So that's what's kept us busy and excited over the last couple of months.
And I'm going in depth here, but can you also walk me through the process of how you, like the entire R&D process, and how you decided that, we want to create something in the pet space, like the treats that you've created. So what was the thought behind it, and what was the process like? Like, did you guys, was it difficult to sort of, come up with this product? How was the experience of creating this?
Okay. Actually, so that it happened very naturally. We have a lot of friends who are vegans or vegetarians, and they don't like these pieces of meat that's the only thing in the market. So we developed this product with a couple of vets and nutritionists, because we said, listen, we want to get a product right for dogs, because even if you look at what's available in the market, there are lots of flavored, chicken flavored or liver flavored, so again, it's not always the right kind of protein in it. And we were part of a vegan conference as well, where we realized that, listen, dogs are actually omnivorous. We don't have to go on shoving meat down their throat, right? Because if you look at their genes and them as wolves, they also they were omnivorous, so they ate both. So I think what we did was, if you look at what we've used turmeric, but we haven't used pepper, because again, pepper is not, a whole spice is not good for your dogs. But then ragi is really good for dogs. Flaxseed is really good for their joints. So we've researched and we worked with professionals who knew about this as well. It wasn't just, let's try out these various combinations. And we also wanted something that was shelf stable, without using salt, without using sugar, because that's usually used as a preservative. So it's just with turmeric, ragi, hemp seed flour, flaxseed, and cinnamon, which is why I said, like, it took us a year to get it right. But now it's so good because it's shelf stable. It's a little disc. It's in a shape of a little disc. So we've also made it to the size that it's a bite-sized treat. So it slows down your dogs eating it, because otherwise they just wolf it down. And again, like Shalini said, a lot of lifestyles are also changing, right? Like, you and I might want to eat healthy and might want to have that salad, but at the end of the day, maybe you're so tired, you just give your dog kibble, right? And what happens with kibble, again, you're not always buying the highest quality because, again, of, expenditure and stuff. So we just want to look at this also as a little supplement that you just take a handful, you put it in with a kibble. That's all you need to do. Your dog is still getting its vitamins. He's still getting the fiber. He's still getting the protein. And you don't have to feel that guilty, because we've got over 100 treats in a box, and it really lasts a long time. So, and we've tried this with like different sizes and shapes of dogs. So, because we have a lab, so we know he'll just eat anything. But, we did this across the small ones, the big ones.
There's a lot of thought that has gone behind creating this product. And I mean, I can understand like the context that you build, like how Shalini is, I would say, a dog whisperer. And how that has motivated you guys for creating something in this space, because I think it is a very exciting space to be in. Like, pet services, pet products is something which is booming right now. More people are adopting or rescuing dogs. So I think the demand for this product is only gonna snowboard from here. Thank you for launching it via Vyapar. Like, I would like to actually sample the product, like, if it's possible. I don't have a pet, but I would love to see it.
Oh,
So
You can also
eat it as well.
what? I can also eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow,
it's tasty. It's really nice. It's crunchy. So that's the thing. We were looking to make it nourishing, crunchy, and delicious. Those were our three things we wanted to, sort of hit, because with dogs, we realized they keep getting the same stuff, but we realized that dogs need texture, right? Because again of their teeth, and we realized they need something nourishing. It needs to do something inside.
so
So
this is something which a dog and a human can have at the same time.
Yeah. So see that was a bit of a joke, but like internally, a lot of our meetings end with my sister tasting the dog treats to tell us to give her feedback. But these
Wow.
are meant for dogs for now, and maybe we have something else cooking.
Like, I can already imagine myself eating this and then posting a picture on Instagram saying that all men are dogs. So, like,
Who's a good
you
boy?
said it. We didn't. You heard it first on Vyapar.
awesome. That's like one of the most innovative products that I've come across, where like both the pet and the owner can eat it at the same time. So, I mean, awesome.
But I think it comes from when you actually are dedicated to a cause, when you actually want to make a difference. Because if we had made this with some substandard food and stuff, I wouldn't eat it. But it's made with quality food, right? It's made with good quality turmeric, good quality flaxseed, good quality cinnamon. So, and again, our hemp flour and stuff. So I'm just saying we've made it in a way that it is tasty, it is nutritious, it is also crunchy, because I love it as a snack.
Nice.
So also, I just wanted to tell you a couple of things about the hemp plant, if you can use it when you'd like to. So basically, the hemp plant has over 25,000 uses, and we've started with just the seed, and we've created 12 products out of it, right? So it's the only plant that can feed you, house you, clothe you, and heal you, right? It is the most sustainable plant, and it also gives farmers additional revenue as they can grow it between crop cycles. This is really important for us as we are agricultural based economy as well. And we don't need pesticides or insecticides to grow this. It grows naturally and it regenerates the soil. So also with hemp, with the R&D that's been happening, because also having Shalini in Barcelona, we understand what's happening internationally. There is a lot of R&D going into making this an alternative to plastic as well. So it's big. It's the next big thing.
Yeah, and I think it's the solution to everything. Like when we talk about global warming, when we talk about, waste sustainability, then I think this is the plant that saves us. Like if the human species wants to save the world, I think hemp can play a big role in ensuring that we reach there, because it's a no-brainer. Like once you read about it, I have done a lot of research into this plant, and I feel that if we promote hemp-based companies, if we promote the farmers, there's only benefits out of it. And I mean, it can disrupt so many industries. Like you mentioned, 25,000 use cases. So it is insane. I think the benefits are here to stay, and I hope that it reaches the level it is supposed to. And I hope that you guys also do your part in this space. And just a couple of things I want to talk about before we call it off. So, like, you guys have been in this space for 2 years. What would be your 2 cents for anyone who is looking to get not only in the hemp business, but also in the food industry, or if anyone's starting a business, like, what would be your key takeaways from your experience?
Sure. So I'll go first. So that you touch upon some really important points in terms of sustainability as well, right? And if hemp is the plant of the future and it is the solution to having a sustainable future, I think it's important to carry that mindset, right? So like Jayanti said earlier, you can't have hemp and then be using plastic, and you need to be, I think, really embrace it as a core value. So if you're getting into the industry, start with that mindset of being sustainable and having positive impact. The second is that this is just a complete green field right now, or a blue ocean, like they'd say. And there's so much of opportunity to innovate. So don't become a Me Too brand, right? So explore the place, explore the potential of the plant with something that's not being done before, right? So for example, plastic or fuel, there's so much research that can be done. So create a brand as well as position yourself strongly, because there's a massive opportunity at the moment for a use case that probably hasn't been explored as much as well. Third thing, if I could say something, is to constantly innovate. And I think another thing that we've realized being in this industry is a lot of people come with the same mindset, right? So it's not so much as just competing with each other, but it's about collaborating, sharing those skill sets and our complementary strengths to and that is how the industry is shaped, and that's how we work. So we invite people to be a part of this process and this industry.
Very well said, Shalini. I think she covered a lot of it, but I feel because we have been one of the early people in the industry, we have seen multiple brands come up after us. But, like Shalini also said, people need to understand they're dealing with a fantastic product here, right? It's not an expensive product to deal with, but then innovate. Don't try, be creative with it. Don't try and do this copy pasting thing, which we see happening all the time. Don't make CBD the end goal because it's easy. So there are 25,000 uses to this. But again, I think everybody, apart from just people who are getting into the hemp sphere, if you also look at people getting into food, into F&B, we should be developing products that are natural, that are good for us to consume, that come in natural packaging that is biodegradable or alternative packaging, So I feel the industry, the F&B industry, also needs to take cognizance of the fact that it's time things change, because we've just been through a huge pandemic, which has hit people and the environment. So, I mean, if this is not a wake-up call, what is? So I really feel if there are newcomers who are listening to this, be creative, get into the hemp sphere if you'd like to, for sure, but just explore the wideness of this sphere as well.
Definitely. I mean, the future is sustainable, and if there is to be a future, then we have to move towards sustainability. So, thank you for doing your part. And I want to talk about the long-term vision that you guys have. So if you could, just forecast 5 years down the line, the journey that India Hemp & Co. has been on, and the journey, the track record that you guys are on right now, what do you see yourself achieving in the next 5 years? What is your long-term vision for India Hemp & Co? Do you also have any you've already launched a new product on the episode, but any other products that you're working on right now that you plan to launch in the next couple of years? Tell me about that. Tell me about your long-term vision for the company.
So that we have a very clear 5-year plan ahead. And I think one of the biggest advantages we have as a company, as we have 2 offices. One is an international office in Barcelona and one is in India, right? So we will leverage this, and we will use India and Spain to leverage our reach in the B2B and B2B sectors. We are collaborating with countries abroad as well to bring in technology. There's just a lot of scope that comes our way as well, and a lot of opportunities that come our way because we are in 2 countries. We also have a first mover advantage. And I think we've used that to sort of build stronger verticals. We do have other products in the pipeline, but we're not at liberty to disclose them. Maybe the next time we do a Vyapar thing, we can launch another one.
We'll do another episode for that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like hemp is the next big thing because it's sustainable and scalable, and it's already made a massive impact in America, Europe, and Canada, right? So we are on the right path, and we came in at the right time. I think that's more important because we do have that, we've managed to create a brand, which is generally very, very difficult to do, given the restrictions in this category. But like I said, we were at the right place at the right time, and the future is green.
Yeah. So in terms of where we are currently, we are growing our teams. We have a bunch of products in development currently, and we're looking to raise funds. So so far we've been bootstrapped, and this is the first time we're raising funds. We're almost closing our first round, but of course we're open to talking to investors and raising more down the line.
Amazing.
Yeah. And just to add to that, I think, we were looking to elevate hemp from the status of ingredient to more like a core element in a sustainable lifestyle. So whether it's through food, nutrition, wellness, and there are a lot of other areas we're not at liberty of discussing right now, but yeah, that's the idea, to be able to get it into everybody's homes, to get it into everyone's kitchens. and to get people to really embrace it, because it really is a solution to whether it's deforestation, or if we're looking at diseases caused by primarily animal-based diets. It's a good alternative, a protein alternative for a more plant-based diet. It has so many different uses, and we're, I think, just at the brink, at the beginning of exploring it. So we're looking towards a very green and exciting future with a lot of exploration and innovation.
Awesome. I get the feeling that you in the next 3-4 years, India Hemp and Co is gonna just burst onto the scene. It's gonna witness insane growth, and it's gonna become one of the largest hemp holistic companies out there. Like everything hemp, if you want to consume anything which is hemp based, then India Hemp and Co is where you come to. So just one naughty question to leave you guys with. So both of you are sisters, but you are also co-founders of the company. So how is it like when there's disagreement between Jayanti and you, Shalini? So who has the upper hand? Like, how is the experience of having a sister being a co-founder in the company?
Siddharth, we just never disagree.
I know.
No, that's a message.
I was like, what? Sisters who don't fight?
No, Siddharth, we're still, I don't know if we found a solution to that, but I think what we do have are tools to have healthy discussions, and we're still very much on a path of learning and growing. But the fact that we respect each other's skill sets and opinions, I think that's a solid foundation. And I couldn't imagine doing this with anyone else. So I'm very happy to be doing this with my sister.
Yeah, me too, Siddharth, because I feel like we are both on this path together, and it's so nice to be connected to Shalini, even if it's, though she's in a different country, like we talk so many times during the day. And when you're working with your sister, there's just this bond you have where it's not going to be destructive, right? And there's no egos and things like that. You have to say something, you bounce back from it as well. So yeah, I couldn't imagine doing this with anybody else either.
Awesome.
I mean, don't fight.
That I don't believe that. I don't believe that. That's a white lie.
Yeah, clearly.
Anyways,
but I must actually say this, Siddharth. Actually, since you brought this up, we're also the only women-run hemp brand in India. So again, it's just quite an amazing thing as well, because it's considered to be a sort of a masculine space, but we've changed that. We've turned that around, because if you look at the communication that Shalini works on, it has this it comes from a female angle. So it's soft, it's more approachable. You see the difference with other brands as well, right? So, and it comes very naturally. So I feel like we've made it a very relatable product, because otherwise you just think of if you think of cannabis and stuff like that, it's generally 2 years ago, people would be like Bob Marley t-shirt and a joint, right? So it's just, we've really managed to move that, right? And now we have like Nike athletes on our website using our products. So we've really managed to move that to food, to nutrition, to health, to well-being. And I think every piece of information you see out there has been well thought of. Nothing is a knee-jerk thing from us. Everything has thought in it and value addition to everybody else who's reading.
Awesome. I think like what you guys are doing with India Hemp & Co is amazing. And, like you mentioned, you're the only woman-led company in this space. So that's a challenge in itself. Like, that gives you motivation to just keep hustling every day. And I wish you all the best for the future. I would love to have you back, like, whenever there's any product launches, whenever you are launching any new innovative products, I would love to have you on Webart. So
we'd love to come back. We'd love to be back. This was great.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
A pleasure.
Just to add to what you said, I don't know if it's a challenge. I think we use being a female-led business also to our advantage, because that's a part of our core business value too,
Definitely. All right. Awesome. I had a wonderful time. I'm going to order the new product, like whenever it launches. I'm going to be the first one who orders it. So do let me know.
Thanks for that. It's called Good Doggo Hemp Treats. great with your evening coffees.
Yeah.
So,
All right, guys.
thank you.
That does it for today's edition of Vyapar. You can check more about India Hemp & Co. on their website. Also check out their Instagram page. They post some really good content on a consistent basis. I'll keep all these links in the description. And I'm definitely going to try out their good doggo treats. And if you've got a pet, you should give it a shot as well. And if you like what we're doing with the show, do leave us a rating. Let me know your feedback as well. That really helps us grow as a podcast, helps me understand what my audience wants from me. And if you have any good businesses on your radar, if your friend owns a business and you feel that they would love to come on Vyapar, just shoot me up. So take care and we'll catch you in the next episode.